Okay, here we go with the penultimate episode. I believe that's what the next to last episode of thing like this is called, of my Mass Effect Let's Play. Here's my commentary, and as you can see, I finally got my decent mic work, or here I should say, I finally got my decent mic working. Mass Effect, yeah, there, I'm in sync. Yeah, this is the next to last episode, and I am already working on Mass Effect 2. I had a delay with it, in that I had game crash my computer, and I actually had to reinstall Windows. Fortunately, I had pretty much everything backed up except some of that Mass Effect 2 Let's Play footage, and that's proving a little harder to put together. Because here's the thing. Whereas here it's divided up more traditionally as games used to be, plot and cutscenes, action just being action. In Mass Effect 2, that's going to be a longer Let's Play because a lot of plot details and character moments actually do happen during your squad discourse on the main missions there. So you're going to see me with my whole movement disorder and everything failing a lot more on that. I'll cut out as much as I can there, but yeah, enough talking about that. Let's get into the winding up Mass Effect 1. Here you just had to kill Liara's mother, so I want to go check on her, but I don't want either Liara or Ashley to be my romance option on this game, especially not Ashley, because and I'll get into this more in Mass Effect 3, but if she was your romance option, and then there's a reason why in Mass Effect 2 you decide to completely chuck her, and the game, I'll get to that later, but it makes her unselectable as a squad mate, and in Mass Effect 3, has few enough squad mates as it is.
I am with you until the end, Shepard.
But yeah, just wanted to have that conversation with Liara, and then of course there is, because I'm the only ship in the fleet, just like the Enterprise in Star Trek.
Infantry Alliance 10th Frontier Division. The listening post has been overrun by unidentified hostile life
How much you want to
forms.
bet the unidentified hostiles just happen to be, yup, Rachni? You go down and, yeah, the place is lousy with them. Although, since you had no trouble taking them out on foot, they don't really stand a chance. The only thing that makes this a challenge is that they sometimes can spit acid, and that'll really mess with the Mako. But other than that, you know, since you took them all on foot, it's actually easy, and yeah, you just defeat a few waves of these guys to save this outpost. And the one neat thing about it is that, is that you can hook up the Mako to this battery thing that will power up these turrets, and then the Rachni really don't stand a chance.
First Lieutenant Duran, sir.
It's really easy to do lip sync when nobody can see your faces.
I heard you needed some backup.
Actually, we need to get the hell out of here. But
There are three of you. I'm pretty sure we could find space. Does anybody remember how I was complaining about how empty your quarters are on this game and how there's nothing to do with them? I'm pretty sure I could cram these three into there.
This is what's left out of 90 men. I'm the ranking officer.
Why are you
I got really lost. Never trust Google Maps.
We set up a chain of listening
I tell you, I once tried find a movie theater with Google Maps, and good night. It sent me driving around a really sketchy neighborhood, like 2 miles away.
They're not animals. They're a sentient species. You study
Well,
history,
I kind of dispute the sentient part, since the Queen and that scientists said that they pretty much don't have the ability to think for themselves, and that's why they're attacking everyone. They don't really, they just blindly attack without the Queen's influence. So, do they still count as sentient if that's the case? I don't know.
Your defense is operational.
Aye, aye, Commander. You heard the man. Everybody
So yeah,
fill magazines and
here's
grenades.
the
Take a
cool
leak and a
thing,
drink while
is you
can.
have to,
If anyone
you
wants to
just shoot
smoke,
wave after
it's
wave
good
of
time as
Arachnai,
any.
keep them from getting into the base, and yeah, you connect the Mako to the generator, and then these, turrets are, you know, able to fire. And yeah, see, I skipped, defeating all those
Hell,
waves.
sir. Talk about a near-run thing. You all right?
Never mind me.
Not really.
Still on my
Do you have
feet.
any idea
Fighting
what
for
it's
almost
like
26
staying
hours
in one of
straight.
these suits
None
for
of us were standing for
for
long.
days?
There's
I
one
mean,
other thing I should mention. One of our
I'm about
other
to
listening
drown in
posts
my
went
own
offline
sweat
3 days
here.
ago. I don't know if it's coincidence, a pirate raid, or what. But if you want to check in on them,
We'll check on them. I don't know
Oh,
why
and by
they're
the way,
Arachnid and
I think I
Lucifer, but
did
intend
this
to find out.
wrong. I think when I was going through the system, I accidentally, in one of the side missions that I didn't think was worth showing, I think I accidentally
Right,
destroyed
that
the
must be
source
it.
of the Arachnai. So,
that must be where
while
they're
she
coming from.
talks about
My people aren't in any
while she
condition
talks
for a
about the
clearing operation,
Arachnai
though.
being delivered,
Just
well,
point
you
us
find
in the
out
right
later that the
direction.
Arachnai were
You
delivered
don't
from
have to do
somewhere.
that, Commander. We've bled them.
Yeah, this
You can
plot
probably
point
hold
doesn't
until
really
bigger
make
ship
sense in my
tries to take us off,
Let's
though.
Play
If you wanna
because
take
I
prize, we'll give you
destroyed
the
the source,
coordinates.
because I accidentally
What's your call?
destroyed the source of the Arachnai
Safe
before
hours,
I ever
Commander.
came here, so it just, so yeah, you're gonna see me run around, and yeah. So here you go into this cave. This isn't the source of Arachnai, of course. This is just where they are on this planet, and you just have to kill the head of a brood, and you know. Yeah. Oh yeah. I'm really going into this creepy place. Good night. Is this tunnel used for sewage or what? And yeah, once you destroy the brood warrior, you know, thing, you know, the Arachnai aren't a threat on this planet anymore. You see. Now I got
That's it,
another.
Drew. Commander, I'm glad you were in the area. We've got an emergency situation. and
Oh,
the only one I can
I
trust to
hate
get the
this
job
one.
done.
I didn't show it because I've tried this every single time, and here's my thing. You have to free the hostages without, but here's the thing, is I can get around the human shields and start and get the terrorists without my hitting any of the human shields. But here's the thing: you don't have the option to go it alone, and you don't have the option to command your squad mates to hold their fire. And the moment their shields are hit, they just start spraying the whole area. The AI is so dumb; they just start spraying the whole area, even when it's a hostage situation with bullets. So I've never gotten to a point where I can where I've ever gotten this that there's more. So that I get less than one. That's what I got here. Is I always one hostage at least gets killed by your dumb squad mates who won't work their way around the hostages to shoot. They'll just once their shields are hit. Yeah, this is what I'm talking about. You get this. You fight through a bunch of Arachnai on this planet, and then you find out that they were being shipped from somewhere. But I think this ship. I went to every planet in the game. I went to every system, and I couldn't find it. So I think I must have wiped it out earlier in something I did. So sorry. I screwed that one up too. But yeah, here it is after the hostage situation where my dumb as opposed AI squad mates. I mean, if they're gonna have something where you're not supposed to kill hostages, I like to try and get a perfect score on anything I get in a game, and because you know I grew up. My first video game system was the Vectrex. I mean, so high scores are everything to me, and I just and if I fail a game, I want it to be me, not because every time my squad mates get their shield hit.
Transmission coming in
All right,
from the Citadel.
here it is. The big emotional, and this leads to a couple of the big emotional moments in the game that really shock you the first time you play through it. But
Commander Shepard, we've received information that may be critical to your mission against Saren.
It turns out he's just been sitting in his house trolling us the whole time.
You mean spies?
Spectres tend to attract attention, Commander. But they are only one arm of the Council. Special task groups are often a better option for monitoring developing situations.
I thought that doesn't that contradict itself? I thought the Spectres were the ones you sent in on the most sensitive situation. If the Spectres are more of a blunt instrument, then
Unfortunately, the message
I don't get it. I don't get it at all. Well, then why did they send you into this delicate situation to begin with instead of the Special Task
The
Group?
message was sent on a channel reserved for mission-critical communications. Whatever they were trying to tell us, we know it was important.
Considering
your interest,
It's probably about how
the signal originated from the planet
how much
I'll look into it.
most
The Council
TV
prefers
shows
not
on
to become
TV
involved in the specifics of
today
Spectre
suck,
activities.
and you shouldn't
We
waste your
only
time
want you
with
to
them.
be aware of
That's
all your
probably
options,
that's
including
pretty
Vermont.
important,
Good
right?
luck, Commander Shepard. We will keep you advised if we
Finally,
learn
you
anything
do
else.
something helpful. So now you go to Vermeer.
Check out those defense
They're really
towers.
cool. Those are really cool defense
Drop the
towers.
Mako. We'll go in hot and take them out.
I'll get you in underneath their radar, Commander.
Oh, ooh. Oh, and here's something weird. They were too lazy to animate them sitting inside the Mako, I guess. Or maybe lazy's too harsh, but I don't know. Maybe the game engine doesn't support it or something. But they show you dropping in the Mako like always, but yeah. You have to deactivate these gates, and yeah, I'm not going to show you me shooting tons and tons of gaff, because by this point, you know, now later on, you're gonna see something, because mission critical stuff happened on comm chatter. So I did record that. Well, yep. Yeah. As you can see, I do not have 100% hand-eye coordination, and I've never had it diagnosed, but there is some sort of movement disorder with my hands and feet. It keeps me from being able to drive a car. With a lot of practice, I can get good at this, but that's why I prefer playing on the PC to video game systems, and I have nothing against the PS2 controller, but I actually prefer the Xbox because I got more used to playing shooters on the Xbox, playing Halo, even though I had played a lot of shooters before that, even on consoles, but it's like,
What are we supposed to do in the meantime?
it takes a lot of practice for me to get good enough to be decent.
We are the reinforcements.
Yeah, I know, it's ridiculous that they always only send 3 people no matter how critical the
Couldn't
mission.
understand your transmission. They sent me to investigate.
That is a repetition of our task. I lost half my men investigating this place.
So what have you found?
Saren's base of operations. He set up a research facility here, but it's crawling with Geth and very well fortified.
Is he here? Have you
Yeah,
seen him?
he doesn't invite me to any of his parties anymore. I'm thinking of unfriending him on
This is his
Facebook.
facility. There's no doubt about that.
What's Saren researching?
He's using the facility to breed an army of Krogan.
How is that possible?
Apparently, Saren has discovered a cure for the
Don't-
genophage.
The Geth are bad enough, but a
Why
Krogan
would you
army.
need a cure?
Would be
Couldn't you
almost
just, if
unstoppable.
you wanted a bunch of mindless
Exactly my
soldiers,
thoughts. We must
they
ensure that this
do
facility and its
mention
secrets
that
are destroyed.
cloning exists in this
Destroyed.
universe, so couldn't you
I
just
don't think
clone
so.
them?
Our people
I
are
don't
dying.
claim to be an
This
expert on this
cure
sort of
can
thing,
save
but
them.
If that cure leaves this planet, the Krogan will become unstoppable. We can't
You
make
can't-
the same mistake again.
what do you mean by... I guess he's talking about the
We
fact
are
that they
not
gave the
a state.
Krogan space travel, but...
Is he going to be a problem? We already have enough angry Krogan to deal with.
Yeah,
fine.
unlike
I'll talk to
what the writers,
I'd appreciate
unlike
that,
the
Commander.
writers for the
My men and I
canon
need to
ending,
rethink our plan of attack.
I'm not a
Can you
complete
give us some
jerk. I
time?
actually try to talk to
Go
people.
ahead, Captain. I'll come back soon.
We won't be long, Commander. In the meantime, if you need any supplies, you can...
You
talk to
notice no
Commander
matter how
Ventura.
desperate the
He's one of the
situation
tanks
is
nearby.
in a RPG, there's always a supply
Looks like things are
store.
better than that.
Yeah. I wouldn't be so worried if it wasn't for Rex. It looks like he's gonna blow a gasket.
Just drop it. He'll be fine.
If you say so. But I'm gonna keep my eye on him, if it's all the same to you.
Yeah, so, now you have to go talk to Rex. And yeah, in canon you kill Rex here, but I've never understood why because all you have to do is say 2 sentences to him and it talks him down.
I understand you're
So
upset, but we both know Saren's the enemy here. He's the one you should be angry with.
Really? Saren created a cure for my people.
did you miss the part where he wants to wipe out all life in the... I mean, really? How would a cure for the genophage how would that help your people if everybody in the universe is dead?
That's a chance we should be willing to take. This is the fate of my entire people.
Oh, and something
about. I've been loyal to you so far. Hell, you did more for me than my family ever did. But
here's the part that seems like really stupid though. I'm pretty sure any real person, if they just pulled a gun in a in the middle of a military base on somebody, they get shot before I could talk them down. I mean, it's like those guys you sometimes hear about who are stupid enough to try and rob a gun shop, and then they end up with like 500 bullet holes in them because every patron and the owner opened up on them. It's like that seems like the sort of thing that would get you shot instantly. And yeah, I'm surprised it didn't result in Rex getting himself killed there. I mean, really. So now you get on to the actual mission. And
thank you for speaking with the Krogan. The assault on Saren's base will be difficult enough as it is.
Yeah, and I think you're going to love it when it comes together.
We can convert our ship's drive system into a 20-kiloton ordnance. Crude, but effective.
Nice. Drop that nuke from orbit, and Saren can kiss his Turian ass goodbye.
Unfortunately, the facility is too well fortified for that.
I don't get that. Okay. I never understood this.
Where do we take the nuke?
That's, I think, 4 times the yield of a bomb dropped on Hiroshima, where that was so that was so powerful that people's imprints were actually burned into the ground. And later on, you'll see the explosion this thing makes. And guess what?
It's a good idea. But your
Again,
people are going to get slaughtered.
even out in space, in orbit, flying away from the planet, you're not even, I think, in orbit at the same time. You still feel the shockwave from the bomb. If it's that powerful, I don't care how well fortified your building is,
We'll need someone who knows a lot.
it's going to be vaporized. No matter where you drop the bomb, even if the bomb isn't directly sitting on it when it goes off, we could have just pushed the bomb out of
they really mean kiss my ass.
Out of back.
William.
Yeah, I usually send Williams with the captain simply because they say that Shepard would need a Linko to arm the bomb. I'm not sure why they need that, but they do. So to me, it only makes story sense if Alenko is the one going with you to set up the bomb.
They were the initial settlements on our first 3 colony worlds. They are at the heart of Solarian territory to this day. These names will define what they are fighting for. They must have a personal stake in the fight if we are to have any chance of success.
The Normandy's picking me up. How will your teams escape the blast?
We will engage the Geth as long as possible. Once the bomb is in place, we will fall back to try and escape the blast radius.
That'll come up again, running away. But as I just said, 4 times the yield of a bomb dropped on Hiroshima and Nagasaki. That was a 5-kiloton bomb. How on earth do you outrun that? Even if you're somehow able to get out of the blast radius on foot, how on earth do you escape the radiation and the radioactive fallout and everything?
You'll see. Yeah,
I don't understand it at all. I know it sounds like I'm being hard, but I do love these games. But
dangerous situation.
the only reason I notice these games are these things are because I've played them so much. So that's a sort of so.
To trust each of you with my life, but I have also heard murmurs of discontent.
Yeah, I mean, really, should we really get a Star Wars movie every single year? I mean, I know Disney is all about milking things dry, and Star Wars is cool and all, but won't that get old after a while? I mean, everybody's growing tired of all the Pixar and Marvel movies. I really don't want to see that happen to Star Wars, so I share your concern. Yeah, thankfully we discovered diplomacy, so we could stop murdering each other for over comic book collections or who had the best sports team. Unless you're in Europe and it's soccer you're talking about, then it's considered part of a culture to murder people over who has the best sports team.
Good luck, Commander. I hope we will meet again.
Yep, so I'm taking Kaidan and Rex, because this kind of involves him, so.
Com check, do you read me, Commander?
Third grade level.
Loud and clear.
Good, we'll start our push. We'll try to make it to the AA guns, but it might be up to you to finish the job. And Commander, if you see any way to undermine their defenses, we could definitely use the help.
Yep.
Shadow is on the ground. Repeat, Shadow is on the ground.
Well, that's where shadows normally are. Yeah, let's call their mothers a whore and see if that does anything. But yeah, as you can see, the Geth aren't much of a, and I know I'm playing it on easy so that I could get the footage quickly. But yeah, this is why I skip it most of the time. I mean, there's comm chatter on this one, so I kind of felt like I had to show the combat. But yeah, there's a thing. Sometimes you're supposed to shoot the things that you take down to make it easier on the other teams, and sometimes you have to hit a button, and I always forget which ones you do which with, so, yeah. Ah, darn it. Don't you just hate it when your cell phone signal just goes out when you need it the most? The Geth right now must be feeling like Jack Power when he's trying to disarm a bomb.
Something scrambled, they're targeting. You got a shot. Chief Williams, take the heat off Manavai.
Yeah, and here I'm about to make a mistake that costs time and I forgot to edit out, but I accidentally turn around and go back to the way I started by mistake. Yeah, normally I'm not this stupid, but there's one thing that I wish. But there's one thing missing in Mass Effect 2. If you but yeah, yeah, I guess this is where. But no, this doesn't look like where I started. This looks like somebody just built a dam in the middle of here for no reason.
Perimeter clear.
That's what it looks like. I don't even know why this path exists since there's nothing there. But then again, I like it a little better than Mass Effect 2, where everything is so straightforward. They got rid of the map. Okay, fine, but then they make the planets, every planet and every mission seems so small because there's only one way to go every single time, and you're just routed to it. I mean, you're kind of doing they kind of do it here, but you get the sense that the world is bigger than this. Whereas in Mass Effect 2, and that's probably why this is my despite all its flaws, it's my favorite Mass Effect game, is that in this one the world feels the biggest, whereas in 2 and 3. You feel like you're constantly routed. And here you're routed too, but it feels a little more natural and a little more open, like you've got a few more choices, whereas
they're calling sat strikes.
You know, oh great. Now they're gonna miss the football game, too. Shepard, you're being a jerk. You're really messing these people up. How dare you? That's just rude. And they talk about this airstrike station. If anybody can tell me where it is that I'm supposed to take out, I know that there's at least one game where one time when I played this, I got the I took out this air station that they say that they need you to take out to get the flyers, but for some reason, every other time I played this, I always miss it, and I have no idea how I got the first time or where I'm missing it. I don't know. I'm an idiot. I get a mission objective once, and then I somehow forget it on like my first or second playthrough, and then somehow I miss it every other time after that. I have no idea how I managed to do that. But yeah, as you can see, there's a reason why. Kaidan doesn't have the best equipment, and there's a reason for that.
Captain Kierhe's down.
Well, that's the end of me.
On me. Shadow team must be getting close.
Yeah, so now you come here and this is another choice you have to make. And that's the one thing that I like, is there are games that have more choices out and stuff, but
we've got access to base security.
There aren't any really science fiction shooter game things. I mean, I like fantasy as much as the next guy, but I'd like to see something like the Witcher games in a science fiction universe, because I really like science fiction. I don't know. This is the closest you get to something with real moral choices in a science fiction setting that I found. If anybody knows of another game series that does this sort of moral choice thing better and is a science fiction setting, I'd love to hear about it and try it out. But yet, there's no reason to set off the alarms, because by this point in the game, if you've been playing it with any sort of skill at all, you can take on any gap inside. So there's no reason to force Ashley to deal with all these guys. I mean, yeah, there, level up. And gotta love how in RPGs, no matter how time-sensitive things are, you always have time to stop and have a conversation with someone. That's a hallmark of RPGs. I'm not criticizing this game or I mean, I know, but even if you're supposed to be trying to run out the clock.
Damn it, fill those holes. Come on, Shepard, hurry it up.
You always have time for a conversation. That elevator just leads up to a bunch of indoctrinated Solarians that you just have to let out and shoot. It's just a waste of time, and it doesn't get you anything. It's not even mentioned in any of the other games. So I don't. So I never go up there anymore. I did it the first time I played, and then once I realized that it never played a role in anything. Again, I just
The fleet's not coming.
I just avoided it because it's just a waste of playtime.
We will want this facility destroyed. My team was altered, indoctrinated. You knew about the breeding grounds, but the indoctrination is the greater threat, and far more horrifying. I watched good people reduced to
that'll happen if you spend enough time watching court TV.
Do you know anything about the experiments they were conducting?
They were studying indoctrination, symptoms, progress. Saren uses it to control his people, but I don't think he fully understands.
Yeah, that's always good. Using technology, you have no idea how it works. I can't see that backfiring
Can't end up like that, please.
at all.
Let me out.
I'm opening your cell.
Yeah, try to outrun the blast.
Don't look back and hope to outrun the blast.
I mean, really? What on earth?
Good luck. You'll need it.
And then you find out, maybe I should save it for Mass Effect 2, but I'm just gonna say it. You then find out that some people were able to outrun it on foot. And it's like, what? Or did I forget about? Oh yeah, that's right. I think I went on this. Oh yeah, that's right. That's another elevator I was thinking of. This is just where the breeding is taking place, and yeah, you know, they've already given the guy a name, but there's no option to talk to him or anything. Why isn't Asari working with him? And then you know, have Husks, you know, boring. And yeah, but yeah, there's a container to hack. Doesn't really have anything. You haven't got. And by this point, you've gotten all of them. You've gotten most of the most powerful stuff. So hacking a container is only good to bring your skill up. Only there aren't enough to hack to bring up your skill enough, since you can't buy points for it. Again, there's no way to know where your hacking ability is at. So oh, here's another thing. Battle.
Don't shoot! Please, I just want to get out of here before it's too late.
Kaden, you're beaming in there?
Everyone in this place is trying to kill me.
Do I look like a soldier? I'm a neurospecialist, and this job
What job is worth dying over?
You think the indoctrination only affects prisoners?
People are always saying that in fiction. I'm not getting paid enough to die. Or something along those lines. How much do you have to get paid to die? I mean, unless you have like some sort of fatal disease, or your like family was like gonna starve to death, and this was your it was your only option. I can't figure out how much money you'd have to pay somebody for them to actually say, "Oh yeah, this is worth dying over." It doesn't seem like that.
Full access. All of Saren's private files. Are we good? Can I go?
What were you studying here?
It's that ship, Sovereign. It emits some kind of signal. Undetectable, but it's there.
Undetectable, but it's there. Well, then how do you know it's there?
Influence his followers to control them. It's called
Were you reading that out phonetically off of a cue card? How do you say this word again? Okay, we'll spell it out for you phonetically. Indoctrination. Okay. Okay, I think I got it. Should we do another take? No, we're good. We're good. Really? Because I was just reading that out phonetically as a test. You know, just to make sure I got it right. You're sure? Because I can say it. I can say it where it sounds natural. Indoctrination. Hear it? You can edit that in. I'm pretty sure the tape is still. No. That would take about 30 seconds of work, and the guy in the sound booth is too high to do that.
It makes us obey Saren, but I don't think he controls it. Not exactly. I think he's scared it might be affecting him. Indoctrination is subtle. By the time the effects become noticeable, it's usually too late.
What do you mean by collateral damage?
Sovereign's signal is too strong.
Again, if the signal is too strong, then how can it be undetectable? I hate to keep harping on this little points, but you know, once you played the game so many times, you start thinking about it. You're like, wait a second, does that line make sense?
Subject was the man I replaced. Now I just want to get out of here before it happens to me.
I'm gonna blow this place to hell and gone. If you want to make it out alive, you better start running.
What?
I tend to let anybody live who you have the option to talk to in a later game. No matter how I feel about them personally, simply because, you know, I like having conversation options. That's the only reason I let her live. Is she does turn up later. does she just have a profile somewhere on some website where she says henchwoman looking for mad scientist to work for who will threaten future of whole galaxy? Must be at least a 90% chance of death involved.
Commander,
all offers accepted.
Like the one on Eden
really?
Prime.
Well, at least this one seems to have some sort of control panel. What the heck is the point of a communications beacon that you can't really control? Isn't that kind of like having a TV without an on or off button and it just randomly turns itself on or off? Oh, just the same flashback they should do every time. Why does it have to lift you into the air? Boy, the Protheans, good night. Making a cell phone call for the Protheans must have been a painful nightmare. I mean, really.
I get the feeling
really? You're only now getting that feeling?
You are not Saren.
What is that? Some kind of VI interface?
Rudimentary creatures of blood and flesh. You touch my mind, fumbling in ignorance, incapable of understanding.
Yeah, you got that right. The explanation they'll give you at the end of Mass Effect 3 is so stupid. I am incapable of comprehending how anybody could actually write that without breaking down in a fit of uncontrollable laughter. It should have caused them to laugh themselves to death, like the guy who wrote the world's funniest joke on Monty Python.
What they chose to call us is irrelevant. We simply are.
The Protheans vanished 50,000 years ago. You couldn't have been there. It's impossible.
Yeah, really?
Organic life is nothing but a genetic
that doesn't answer the question of how you survived.
Years and decades, you wither and die.
Also, he says that you measure your lives in decades. You have a Krogan with you. Like the Asari, they live about 1,000 years, so they measure their lives in centuries.
Whatever your plan is, it's going to fail. I'll make sure of that.
Unless it's something completely stupid, where it turns out that the good answer to the problem you're trying to solve is actually the villain's plan in this game, and a lot fewer people would have died if I had just let him go forward with his plan.
First, they did not create the Citadel. They did not forge the mass relays. They merely found them. The legacy.
And they didn't even give us credit. So yeah, we wiped them out. The least you can do is give somebody credit when you take their stuff. Selfish jerks.
Our technology. By using it, your society develops along the paths we
Again, this would indicate... Again, this in Mass Effect 2 indicates that there's nothing more to it than they need you to develop to a certain point so that they can harvest you to reproduce their species.
Letting us advance to the level they need. Wiping us out.
Yeah, if anybody knows anything about the ending of Mass Effect 3, yeah, there are a lot better videos dealing with that, so I'm not going to talk about it much, even when I get to Mass Effect 3, but I will say that what he's saying here does not add up with any of that, and... yeah, I can. You just explained it to me. Your machines that last for tens of thousands of years. And, you just explained it. Oh, and if this is about organics versus synthetics, then how come how come it turns out that the Reapers are at least half synthetic and half organic and need organic material? He calls you a mistake, but how on earth could you possibly exist without organics and if you need the genetic material from them? I guess that's a spoiler for Mass Effect 2, where you find a Reaper being built, but they're a fusion so this isn't about synthetics versus organics, because the Reapers are already a fusion of the two.
Commander, we got trouble.
Okay.
Hit me, Joker.
That ship's Sovereign? It's
I am a
I don't know
man.
what it did down there, but that thing just pulled a turn
Stole
that
a
would shear
joke.
any of our ships in half. It's coming your way and it's coming hard. You need to wrap things up in there fast.
This console is shot. Orders,
Let's...
Commander?
well, I guess that
Let's
kills
head to
the
the
resale value.
Joker can pick us up after we set the nuke.
Okay, I went to this because sometimes there's a glitch, and the game, once you come into this place, will just pause when you try to open the door. It'll just you'll just stand around here and nothing will happen. So I cut around to make sure that it didn't that the glitch didn't happen, and I didn't force you to watch my guys just standing around, because I think there's like one particular piece of dialogue from Ashley that if the game refuses to play it just before you come in here, that's how it glitches. Again, I see no way we could have fit. This is one of the more impressive shots. I mean, it's in gameplay. I mean, the shot of Normandy coming in is actually one of the more impressive shots I think I've seen in games, since it's in gameplay. It's not actually.
We're all set here.
Commander, can you read me?
The nuke is almost ready. Get to the rendezvous point, Williams.
Negative, Commander. The Geth have us pinned down on the AA tower. We've taken heavy casualties. Captain Kirrahe is dead. We'll never make the rendezvous point in time.
Get them out of there, Joker. Now.
Negative. It's
Hey.
too hot. Can't risk it. We'll hold them off as long as we...
It's okay, Commander. I need a couple of minutes to finish arming the bomb. Go get them and meet me back here.
Yeah.
Up to the AA tower. Move.
Up to the. All right. Let's go. Yep. Take my two favorite squad mates and go. This is one of the more emotional moments in the game until you realize the trick to it, which is that whatever gender you choose for Shepard is going to end up deciding, I think, most of the time who you save. And I've talked to other people, and it seems like it's not just true for me, because here's the thing. Kaidan has, if you're male Shepard, the people at BioWare are unable to comprehend the idea that you could be talking to somebody and getting to know them and not actually be romantically interested in them. So if you're male Shepard, Kaidan has nothing to say to you. So you're gonna choose to save Ashley every time, since she's the one who you since she's the one you can have conversations with. Whereas if you're female Shepard, you're gonna choose to save save Kaidan, because he's the one you can have conversations with. And it's like a very juvenile way of writing, where they don't seem to understand how adults or human beings work. And I'm sorry if the fan that is so. I mean, because I really like Mass Effect, and most of the writing does make me care about the characters. In most video games, I don't care 2 bits about the characters. This is one of the few games where I do. And this did feel, like a hard decision the first time I played through it. But then after I played through another game with female Shepard, I realized the trick to it. And for me anyway, it becomes, well, you know, just from a gameplay perspective, you want the one who's going to give you more gameplay options. The only trouble is that the game always counts it as, even if you haven't done anything to romance Ashley actually, other than, you know, having random conversations with her, you're saving her. it counts it as you romancing her no matter what on the game. And that just, yeah, I don't really care for that. I mean that again. That just seems juvenile. Yeah, the only reason I'd save someone is because I want to have sex with them. I mean, really, that's not a very adult or heroic way to think of, well, anything. Whoa! Oh! Did they establish that he was a biotic? I thought he had Matriarch Venezia with her because he needed a biotic. Yeah, really impressive.
I guess we're utterly convinced the Salarians are the real threat. Of course, it was all for nothing. I can't let you disrupt what I've accomplished here.
What have you accomplished exactly?
This isn't complicated. You'll do anything to get power, even joining with the Reapers.
You've seen the vision from the beach.
Yeah. Again, what are those visions showing me?
Do not mire yourself in pointless revolt. Do not sacrifice everything.
Oh, and by the way, what he's describing here, the team on Mass Effect 3 said that the good ending is synthesis. So what he's describing here is synthesis. So in other words, he's 100% right here. According to the writers of Mass Effect 3, you are the villain. This means that Shepard here is the villain. He should have joined with Saren, helped him complete his plan, and then because Shepard, in what they call the good ending, the one that they say is canon for Mass Effect 3, he uses the Crucible to do exactly what Saren's describing. So in other words, you should have joined because you get millions, if not billions, of people killed in a pointless revolt, only to do what he was going to do almost 3 years ago anyway. So you could have saved a lot of lives if you had just gone along with him. So yeah, that's what annoys me the most about the argument that synthesis is the ending. Not only the idea that, you know, from if you think about it as if you're talking about racism here on Earth with, you know, real people, you're saying that, you know, it's impossible for different races to get along, and humankind, you have to, and everyone in the human race needs to meld together and be exactly the same, yeah, or peace is impossible between people who are different. That's pretty disturbing right there. But also, it means that you spent 3 games playing as the villain, and what's more, it's never addressed. If they at least addressed it and maybe had that be an internal revelation for Shepard, or had it build up to throughout Mass Effect 3, I'd be okay with it. But it didn't. It comes out of nowhere, and it's never remarked upon. I can't even find an interview where the writers of Mass Effect 3 seem to realize that their good Paragon ending is the villain's plan from the first game. But yeah, I like trying to talk him down here because well, I grew up with Star Trek. I grew up with Star Trek: The Next Generation. So as a kid, I always wanted to be Captain Picard. So I like the idea of of making the Picard speech and putting this guy and talking people down and trying to talk people down into joining me and helping with stuff.
I'm not like you. I'd rather die fighting than
not really. I mean, I'll change my mind really quick on this, but it sounds good right now.
Is the only way any of us will survive.
again,
between us and the Reapers.
See,
between organics
and see, he just described the good ending of the quote-unquote good ending of Mass Effect 3, and that's why that's not canon for me. I wrote my own fanfiction ending with the stipulation that in a bit of a contest, a bunch of Mass Effect fans had like a couple of months after the game came out, where the stipulation was that you had to keep the Star Child and everything he said in it, but come up with a different ending. But the ending that I count as canon is a fan-made one, and when I get to Mass Effect 3, I'll put a link when I get there in the video description to it. It's actually really good. The only real problem is that they had to replace some of the music with MIDI files, and which doesn't really sound very Mass Effect-y, and a few of the lines have lip sync problems since they had to, since fan-made people couldn't just get the actors from the game in here. Yeah. Yeah, get that smug smile. A friend is about to die, horribly. Get that smug smile just because you got away, Shepard. But, anyway, yeah, there's a fan-made one, and, despite some lip-syncing issues. But this is what I'm talking about. You're telling me... Watch how this bomb goes off. Watch it.
Alright, everybody, hang on.
You're telling me that if they dropped that from a few hundred feet above and detonated it a few hundred feet above it, that wouldn't have wiped out the base? You already killed all the scientists, and you made Saren run. Couldn't you have just wiped his computers?
I can't believe Kaidan didn't make it.
See, I hate this because...
Just leave him down there.
But this is a very well-written emotional moment, but...
He gave his life to save the rest of us.
It should have been me, Commander. You know that.
But even when I say that, it's not because I wanted to romance her. She's still...
I'm sorry, Commander. You saved my life. I'm grateful for that. But it should have been me. Alenko was a superior officer.
No. Actually, from every bit of research, and if anybody from the military ever watches this, you can comment on it and correct me if I'm wrong, but from every bit of research I've ever seen, the superior officers are supposed to be the last ones out and protect the junior officers. So no, going strictly by military regs, from what I can tell, Shepard would have been required to go after Ashley, not Kaidan. Also, Ashley was with the Salarians. Kaidan was on his own. So, if you go back to save Kaidan, what, you've saved one person? I mean, both times the Salarians end up on board somehow, even though they were all in a separate location. But realistically, and that's how I try to record these and think of the story in some sort of realistic fashion, even if you take out all that military regs and tradition sort of thing, it still should be whoever is with the Salarians that you save, since there are more people there for you to save, what you save one person and leave a dozen others to die? Again, from any sort of military thinking standpoint, how does that make sense? I mean, unless that person has some like really critical strategic information.
Ilos. The conduit is on Ilos. That is why Saren needed to find the Mu relay. It is the only way to get to Ilos.
How come you never told us about Ilos before?
Wait a second, how do they know where Ilos is if the Mu relay has been lost for thousands of years? I only just thought of this while watching it, but how? If the Mu relay is the only way to get there, how do they know that the planet Ilos even exists? I mean, you wouldn't have been there. Nobody's been there.
Ships are not welcome there. Neither are Spectres.
I mean,
conduits on Ilos. That's where Saren is headed.
I mean
I'll be waiting for him when he gets there.
nobody knew. And yes. I know whoever was here before Native Americans, and I know Native Americans, and I know all about Vikings and all that. But what I mean is, before Columbus and others, discovered the discovered, quote unquote, the North American continent, and put it on maps. And I think that's what a lot of people don't understand when people say that they discovered it, was that they put it on maps that were being widely circulated, so then everybody knew that there was something new out there. So, and yes, I know the Vikings knew, but it wasn't general knowledge. But my point is that before anybody got to North America, nobody knew North America was there. If there wasn't a way to get to North America, you wouldn't know that it was there. How on earth do they know Ilos exists if there's no way to get to it except for this lost relay that nobody's used for like that nobody's known where it is for like 1,000 years?
It's highly possible Saren is using false information.
I mean, was somebody there before, and then the relay got lost? That's the only thing I can think. But
I tried to warn you about Saren. You didn't believe me then, and look how that turned out.
I believe you humans have a saying. Even a broken
how many times have I been right today?
Here's another saying. Go to hell.
Maybe we were wrong about you, Shepard. Maybe humans
really, I mean, you're the one with.
Sooner or later,
you're the one who keeps lashing out at me, and your guy is the one who seems to have taken it very personally that anybody's coming against him. Saren seems to take it very personally. It seems to remember Anderson from like 20 years ago and still hold a grudge. And humans are the hot-headed ones.
You have the authority to act as you see fit.
If you truly believe Sovereign is the real threat, you must take whatever steps are necessary to stop it.
Well then...
Good luck, Commander.
Well then, that's what I just asked you to do. So yeah, go talk to this guy, and I don't talk to Ashley here because because you'd think that is what finally locks her in as a romantic interest, but nope. She's still locked in, and if she's a romantic interest, but then you reject her in Mass Effect 3, she then doesn't work with you, and it's like, what? The whole galaxy is at stake, and just because we're no longer together as a couple, you're not going to help me save the galaxy? That's pretty lame. Oh, and here's Shepard at his most naive. They just said that they aren't going to help you, and yet he falls for this. You'll see it next time, but this is where I put the cliffhanger.
Took them long enough. Back to the Citadel, Joker.
Yeah.
I want the Normandy at the head of that fleet.
I think Shepard is pretty naive here. Alright, see ya in the last episode.